Welcome back to Metal Gear RC, and we're here in the Wrench-A-Nut RC garage. And today I just received my HOBBYWING 1080 G2 brushless ESC. Yes, the new HOBBYWING 1080 that they just released has 3 new functions that you may find appealing. One of the first ones on the list I'm going to show you is the BEC voltage regulator. Now the old one had 2 options between 6 volts and 7.4 volts at 3 amps. Now this one has 3 options at 4 amps. That means you got a lot more power for more accessories. New options have the same 2 first ones of the 6 volts and the 7.4 volts, and the new one is the 8.4 volts option that you can enable from the programmer card. The second new feature that is included into this new ESC is a real car running mode option. Now, when enabled from the program card, you're now able to use it. Now, this incorporates an additional channel that you will have to hook up to your receiver if you want to use it. Now, to explain how that works is if you have a pistol grip like this one, when you go forward, you squeeze the trigger. But when you have it enabled, you have the ability from your controller on an additional switch where you can switch it and say, I want to go forward. So you will squeeze it to go forward and you would push to brake. Now, if you release it and then hit brake again, all it's going to do is brake. No matter how many times you push it, it will brake. Now, if you want to go in reverse, you would then take that switch it into the selection for reverse, and then you'll squeeze the trigger again, and it will cause your car to go in reverse. Pretty cool option, especially for the ones that want to be pure scale, or I find that racers may like this function a lot because while racing, you don't want to accidentally hit the reverse while racing. You always want that brake enabled. So if you ever find yourself in a position, you can also switch it into reverse, give you gas and go, switch it back into forward, and then go forward. Never have that problem of going in reverse when you don't want to go in reverse. Now, the third option, the one I like the most, is the drag brake. Now you can control the drag brake from your controller from a third channel. So this takes 3 channels, and the third channel, or depending on which mode you're wanting to use, because you can use only 1 channel, you can use 2 channels, or you can use all 3 channels. And for the drag brake, that's a separate channel you would put on you will plug into your receiver, and on your transmitter you will select or connect it to one of your inputs. So you can actually have a 2 switch, or you can have a 3 position switch, a multi-position switch, or a variable input such as a turn down or variable pot on your controller to adjust it. And you can adjust it from 0% to 100% drag brake. And I find this very useful, especially for scale crawlers and trailers that don't always want their drag brake on while they're just driving on flat ground. But while either on an incline or decline, you can actually adjust your brake as you go. So if you let off the throttle and you're in your drag brake and you don't want it to go down the hill, well, you can increase your drag brake so you're not moving. But if you want it to just slowly go down without actually giving throttle, you can actually slowly or turn down your drag brake to get the desired effect out of your ESC for your vehicle. Now, I'll go into more detail with the programming with it. So a quick comparison. This is the old 1080. And if you put it next to it, you would notice that the new 1080 is slightly bigger, as well as it includes 4 mounting pre-threaded holes to add a fan if needed. The other thing you'll notice is you have a bigger ribbon cable coming out, and this is where your 3 different channels are going to come in. You have a separate plug. Your white one is for your real driving to select either forward or reverse, and then there's a additional one which is yellow. Your yellow wire will be for your drag brake, and then you'll have the normal set, which is your white, black, and red plug, which that goes into your channel 2 for your normal function. And so if anyone that doesn't have the additional channels and you just want to use the normal function, you'll just go ahead and use the red, black, and white plug and discard the yellow and white off to the side and tape them down. Also, they included this nice little dust cap cover over your charging port. So there's your charging port there, and they included this with it. The other thing I did notice that was different from my first 1080 is they didn't have any connectors. This one actually came with a XT60 for your battery, and it also had the normal, which you would find on most motors. I know they're definitely found on the Tamiya motors connectors. So you won't, if you have a Tamiya motor or a similar style connector for your motors, you don't have to worry about doing any soldering, especially if you're using a XT60 battery. So no soldering needed unless you don't have that style battery or motor connector. Now, talking about the programming card, this one came with my first 1080, the first version. You can use this one, but the downside is all the settings on here on front and back, most of them match up, but you will not be able to follow this one 100% of the time, which you would have to go to the actual paper manual that is included. We'll want to follow all these. This one would be your item. So your item would be this list here. And then for your value would be the options at top. So you would just match it up. So if you were on item 3, you go to item 3, and in the value, you'll find which value you want to select, and then you just enter it in. That's the best way to do it. For the real car option, if you want to enable it, that would be item 1 and value 4 to get the real car. Now for your BEC voltage, you'll go all the way down to item 14, and you will be able to select between value 1, 2, or 3 to pick which voltage you will like to use. Now for the drag brake, you don't have to set it, but if you are using your controller for drag brake, you can come in here and go to item 9 for drag brake, and then you can select option 1 for 0% if you're using your controller to adjust it, unless you want something different. As of now, I haven't done any real crawling or driving except for around the house to test it out. I will have more video and more input on that, but as of now, I'm giving it a thumbs up. It works as expected, being that it doesn't come with a programming card, but you can use your previous programming card in conjunction with what's included in the manual. You'll be able to go in there and program it to the way you want it. So I've already set up on my controller all 3 channels for the drag brake as well as the real car driving. So I'm going to first demonstrate the real car driving. Let me move my steering out of the way. So when I select forward and give throttle, the tire turns forward. Now if I push brake, it's going to brake. As you can see, it's real tight. It's kind of hard to show that in here. But every time I push the brake, as you see, I'm pushing the brake, the tire does not go in reverse. And every time I pull forward, the tire is going to spin forward. Now, if I select reverse and I pull on the trigger, the tire is going to turn in reverse. And then I push the brake, it doesn't turn. Keep pushing the brake, it doesn't turn, because that is enabling the brake. And so as it's still in reverse, I give throttle and it goes in reverse. Select forward, it goes forward. I did notice if you are giving throttle and you switch it, it will stay going in the same direction until you fully let go and then give throttle again, and then it will reverse the direction it was. So it's going in reverse. I'm selecting forward. It's still going in reverse. So when I let go and I give throttle again, it's going to go forward. Now for the drag brake, I have it select here, where this is all the way at 0%, and it's easy to spin the tire. And as I'm turning it up, I am noticing there is more and more resistance. I'm past halfway, which is getting even harder and harder. And now it's at 100%, which it's really hard to turn it. And turn it all the way back down. And now it's pretty much freely spinning. I hope you liked what I had here in this video. If you like, go ahead, hit the subscribe and like button. Go ahead, do it real quick before you forget. And leave a comment below. Tell me what you liked about it, what you don't like about it. What could I did better? What do you want to know about it? Leave it in the comments below. And as for now, thanks for watching.